Hello, and welcome to The Lyric Professors. Thank you for joining us on this particularly spooky evening. Ignore the sunshine, wherein we celebrate Halloween. Now, a second Halloween special. How about that?
Ooh, spooky.
This is 2024's Halloween special, no less. As you can see, we have a Malinois with some pumpkins. It isn't Professor Dogger. She's far too important for that, so she farmed it out to another Malinois. And I'm joined by Professor Dogger, as above, so below, and I won't be able to say that soon with our new design. Never mind. And also on the other side of the world by Professor J. How are you feeling on the other side of the world, Professor J?
You know, it's poncho season. I just took my poncho off because the sun is actually shining, but it is very much poncho, cold sea weather season.
I think you're mistaken. The sun can't be shining because it's a spooky evening at the moment.
Oh, it is indeed a spook. Woo.
Yes, indeed. You can see from our lighting and our ambient effects and things and the smoke swirling across with monster noises that we haven't bothered to do. Yes, so anyway, Professor J, what can you tell me about voodoo?
The hoodoo voodoo that you don't dare do.
Yes, that was the Prodigy, I believe.
I believe it was.
Yes.
Voodoo, isn't it the... I can tell you very little, but I can tell you what ignorance I have. So let me give you my ignorance and see how wrong I am. I believe that voodoo is the indigenous religion of someone like the Dominican Republic or an island like that.
Yeah, well, an island like that would be one of them, yes. It originated in West Africa.
Right.
And is a religion, a recognized religion, rather than just a spooky thing. And there are now considered to be two types of voodoo practiced, which is the New Orleans version, which is probably what we're talking about most in these lyrics, and the Haitian version, which is a little island like the Dominican Republic, as you said. So, yes, voodoo is a religion. Hoodoo is not. Voodoo is, they're both considered sort of magical practices. Hoodoo is based on the physical world, nature, etc. And voodoo is based on the spirits.
Oh, wow. This is very educational.
Indeed.
We
will come across some more terms, which I will attempt to make some kind of explanation of. Although I am by no means an expert. I did spend a lot of time playing a computer game called Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers, back in the day, which is my favourite point-and-click adventure game of all time. That is where the phrase, "What can you tell me about voodoo?" comes from. Read by Tim Curry.
Tim of
Rocky Horror
Picture Show, which is also very spooky.
Very spooky indeed. It's amazing how everything comes back to spookiness today. Yes. So we have 3 songs to do today.
Or 4, depending how quick we are.
Possibly 4, yes. But that one was meant to be a surprise for you, the 4th one. Yes. And the first one, we are starting in the 60s. It's not the 70s, which you thought it was, Professor J. In 1968, a lad called Dr. John, or Dr. John the Night Tripper, as he liked to term himself, released an album called Gree. What can you tell me about Gree, Professor J?
0. Tell me about Gree.
Well, it's a talisman, amulet, or charm believed to bring good luck or ward off evil, used within voodoo.
What colour is it?
Well, you'd think it would be grey, wouldn't you? So, grey is actually a nickname for Professor Dogger, so make of that what you will.
Wow.
In Cajun French, rather than French, to put a gree on someone is also to put a curse on them.
Is there such thing as Cajun French? Isn't it Creole? Isn't that like a whole separate language? It's very different. It has some words of French in it.
Yeah.
So one of my wife's brothers can speak Creole. And it is a completely language that is completely unintelligible to the standard Frenchie. So this album came out in 68. Have you got the track listing of the album?
I don't.
It's amazing. Can I hit you with it?
Oh, please do, yes.
It's Gree Gumbo Yaya, followed by Dansa Kalinda Badum. Then it's Mama Roo, Danse Fombeau, Broker Court Bouillon, Jump Sturdy, and then the outlier is I Walk on Gilded Splinters.
And that would be the song we're doing. Do you have anything to say about the title of the song, Professor Gray? Okay.
No.
Well, obviously he's spelled it wrong. He's spelled gilded, Guilded, which would mean being a member of a guild, instead of gilded without the U, which would be
golden.
Golden, yes. And apparently he actually meant just to call it I Walk on Gilded Splendors, but he was on too many drugs or something and put splinters and kept it. Right.
So, I mean, I'd never heard of Dr. John before. Let's start there.
Oh, Dr. John.
Is he a known dude?
He was very much a known dude. He died a few years ago. He was born in 1941 in New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans. He was a legendary singer, songwriter, and pianist. You have to be careful when you say that. And he blended a lot of blues, jazz, R&B, soul, and a bit of funk. He began as a session musician. He played for people like Professor Longhair, which is a really stupid name. I don't know why anyone would pick that. And Alan Toussaint, who's a very famous jazzist. And he moved to Los Angeles in the 60s, and he did session work for bands such as, well, artists such as Sonny and Cher, Van Morrison, and the Rolling Stones. He played piano on a lot of Stones stuff. Yeah, he is well known. He won 6 Grammys, and 6 Grammys, yes, and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2011. So,
wow,
for someone who was not known, he's pretty famous. Yeah.
Biggest hit was Right Place, Wrong Time.
Yes, that was a 73, I believe, top 10 hit.
Yes. And the B-side was I been hoodooed.
Yeah, he really got into this voodoo thing. He did an album in 1974 called Desitively Bonnaroo. He's made up 2 new words there, which is quite good.
What genre would you put his music into, Professor A?
I only know a couple of songs, I have to admit, but I'd say Delta blues with weirdness.
So, the song Right Place, Wrong Time has 2 genres. One which I agree with, one that I have no idea what it means.
Right.
But I kind of get the implications. The first one is New Orleans R&B.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like what you were describing, your Delta blues thing. And the other one is Blue-Eyed Soul.
Right, that's what David Bowie was said to play for quite a long time.
Really? Yeah. I mean, it means rhythm and blues and soul music performed by white artists.
Yeah. Also known as plastic soul, I believe.
Okay.
Yes. So that's him. That's our lad, Dr. John. His real name was Malcolm John Rebenack Jr.
Legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute legend. Yeah, so I originally said when I first heard this, wow, this is so 70s.
Yes, exactly.
Somewhat erroneously, but the production of it, it's got that warmth. But I can't really describe what to say about it, but it feels. I don't think anybody could make an album like that these days.
Yeah, I guess it's the amplifiers and things they're using, the old tube things.
Yeah. You know, the recording console that was used on the Abbey Road album has come up for sale.
Oh, really?
The console, I believe.
Have you put in a bid?
Well, I believe it's listed at £1.5 million, so I have not put in a bid.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a bit more successful before you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. Excellent.
Okay. Let me do some of these wordies.
If you think you know them, I can't. A lot of them are very disputed. And I saw one of the videos on YouTube. Someone has said they've got the actual record sleeve for the original release. But those lyrics, they don't agree at all with the ones on Genius or some other things. So we'll have a little go anyway.
Okay. Some people think they jive me, but I know they must be crazy. Don't see day misfortune, guess they just too lazy.
Yeah. He's just saying People try to put us down talking about our generation or something, isn't he?
Is he in the Who?
No, he's not. But he's saying he's got some haters. They're crazy.
Don't see day misfortune. Guess they just say, yeah. Not very spooky so far. Right. Next line. Je suis le grand zombie. My yellow belt of choison. Ain't afraid of no tomcat. Fill my brains with poison. So je suis. I am the big
Le
zombie.
Grand Zombie, also known as Dambalawedo.
Oh, that sounded like one of the songs on the album.
Oh,
yes.
Dambalo is one of the lowers of voodoo, which is basically minor gods, I guess, along with Baron Samedi, which people know, that kind of thing.
Baron Samedi, that's from the 1973 Live and Let Die.
Yes, was referred to in that.
Yeah.
Dambalo is a serpent spirit. Serpents are
wow.
regarded in voodoo in New Orleans branch as being holders of unspoken knowledge. And the name Grand Zombie is believed to be derived from Nzambi, who was the Bantu creator god, Bantu being West Africa.
I mean, this song should have been used in Live and Let Die. Only
Yes,
Paul McCartney and what's her face had
wings
taken over it. I've got the vinyl of Live and Let Die, the Spanish version.
Ooh, excellent. Yeah,
but it feels very much like that, and the whole voodoo, the snakes.
Oh yeah, and they're based around the same thing. So
yeah.
My yellow belt of choison. I have no idea what that means. Choison is not a word. I've looked it up. I didn't know if it was meant to be my yellow belt of choosing. Choosing. My belt of choice. I don't know, but like Nick Cage said, he wanted to be buried in his yellow patent leather shoes. I don't know if it's the yellow.
Blatantly ridiculous.
Absolutely. He's not afraid of any tomcat. Well, neither am I, to be fair. Not particularly scary.
But is that like, hey, you cat, you hep cat, you tomcat? He's not afraid of.
Probably is, yeah.
He's not afraid of his brains.
He's not afraid of anyone trying to talk him down, fill his mind with
poison.
Poison, yes. The man whispering madness into his ears.
He's a big, roughy, tufty guy.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. John. Next. Walk through the fire, fly through the smoke, see my enemy at the end of day rope.
Yeah, I mean, it could mean something we're not allowed to talk about. Like, I mean, at the end of your rope, you're sort of exasperated, exhausted as well, isn't it?
Oh, that means him putting the rope there for them to do that thing, I think, rather than them doing it to themselves.
Well, I say if you say somebody is at the end of their rope, it means they're completely worn out.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So walk through the fire, fly through the smoke is just standard. I mean, a lot of the voodoo, or voodoo, as the actual religion is called, voodoo is a popular name for it. A lot of the rituals in that do have fires going on, smoky things,
right?
Sacrifices, all that fun stuff you have on a spooky evening with the lyric professors.
Indeedy. Okay, more words. Walk on pins and needles, see what they can do. Walk on gilded splinters, king of the Zulu.
The king of
Zulu. Why Zulu? Zulu's East African, isn't it? Not West African.
South African. I'm not sure, because they were fighting in South Africa. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
But I see it as like kind of that area, Kenya, that sort of that east, but definitely not west.
No,
I mean,
definitely not.
Big old country, right? Big old continent, right? Africa.
It is. It's absolutely huge.
Yes.
Walk on gilded splinters. As I said, he intended it to be walk on gilded splendors. So it's basically walking on the ruins of his enemy.
Right. So previously he was walking through the fire, flying through the smoke, and now he's walking on pins and needles.
Which goes well with splinters, better than splendors would, to be fair.
Pins and needles, I think of like, when you've trapped your arm and there's no blood flow and it comes back again. Is that what that means?
Either that, or he's mentioned sort of fire walking now. Perhaps he's walking on sharp things and he's so serene in his voodoo-y stuff that he's
Yeah.
not going to feel anything.
Yeah.
I would think. Now, good luck with the chorus.
Thank you. Come get it, come, come, walk on gilded splinters, till I burn up, till I burn up, till I burn up, till I burn up.
Right, we might have a bit of a difference of opinion here.
This sounds like come, baby, come, come.
Apparently, it's corn boule killy core core. Walk on gilded splinters, corn. And the post-chorus is corn boule killy core core. Now, this is another thing that is agreed. Most of the lyrics like say T l'Alberta, T l'Alberta. T presumably being the end of putty.
Delicious hot drink.
Well, yes, but I think it would be the end of putty, as in small. Someone called Alberta, or it has been said that Alberta was the name of a ward in the New Orleans prison.
Wow.
But, as I said on that video, where someone says they've got the original lyric sheet, he said it was Till I Murder. Oh, no, Did I Murder?
Oh, wow.
Did I murder? Did I murder? So, who knows?
You said that he wanted to call it Walk on what splinters?
Gilded Splendors.
Splendors. What does it sound like when he's singing? Does it sound like splendors or splinters?
Splinters. He obviously woke up after the massive drugs binge and saw his lyrics. But according to a chap called Coco Robichaud, who gets mentioned later in the song, he said the following, which would suggest that it probably should have been gilded splinters anyway. He said, in voodoo, they call the gilded splinters the points of a planet. Mystically, they appear like little gilded splinters, like little gold, like fire that holds still. They're different strengths at different times. I guess it ties in with astrology and influences the energy. That's what that's about. Who knows? Perhaps it should have been splinters all along. But no, I have no idea what corn boule killy core core means.
Wow.
I don't know about little Alberta. Could be a woman, could be a prison ward, could be Did I Murder? Who knows? That's spooky.
That is spooky. Okay, where did we get to that bit? Okay, I rolled out my coffin, drink poison in my chalice. Pride begins to fade, and y'all feel my malice.
Nice.
Okay, going on there.
He's rolling out his coffin, so he's a bit of an undead lad. He's saying.
Yeah.
I don't know what I should have researched it. I don't know exactly what the character of Dr. John the Night Tripper was meant to be, whether he's meant to be some kind of vampiric zombie dude or something, because that was his stage character. I don't know. Should have looked into that, didn't have time. He's basically saying he drinks poison. A poison chalice, of course, is something which is a sort of a bad gift. Looks great on the outside and kills you. But I think he's saying nothing can take him down. His enemies can't poison. He drinks it. Pride begins to fade, and you'll feel my malice. He's basically saying he's an evil little night tripper.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. Put Grigri on your doorstep. Soon you'll be in the gutter. Melt your heart like butter. And I can make you stutter.
That's quite clever. That's proto rap.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Yeah. Talking about curses, I said Grigri can be used as a cursing thing.
Yeah.
And if he puts it on your doorstep, you'll suffer losses and end up in the gutter.
I mean, it's funny, isn't it? You'll be in the gutter. Oh, that's bad. I don't want to live in the gutter with no house. I'm going to melt your heart like butter. Oh no, my heart's bad. I'm going to make you stutter. Well, that's not really. That's not really that bad.
Yeah, maybe you should start with that one and work up to the others.
Maybe it's a big insult.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Well, maybe if he was singing about aiming all this at another artist, maybe he was saying your career will be over because you can't sing anymore or something. I don't know. Possibly.
Okay, then we've got some more chorusing. Come get it, walk on gilded splinters, or whatever you. Till I.
Corn boule killy coco.
That's the one. They got a lot of that, and it says repeat for most of the rest of the song.
But there are other lyrics interspersed with it.
I'm going to come on to that. So then we've got Coco Robichaud, who you just mentioned. Who was Coco Robichaud?
Well, it depends whether you mean the real person or the legendary person.
Tell me.
The real person was an American blues musician and artist called Curtis John Arsenault. Nothing funny there, sir. Who came from Ascension Parish, Louisiana, and he took his stage name, Coco Robichaud, from a Louisiana legend in which a naughty child called Coco Robichaud is abducted by a werewolf.
What's the French word for werewolf?
Loup-garou.
Loup-garou, yeah.
And in Creole, it's rougarou.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coco Robichaud claimed that he played regularly with Dr. John in the early 60s and said the following. Many times I got and played with him all around the world, different places. Dr. John, he was very much interested in metaphysics. Then he says a bit about the Gilded Splinters.
I mean, he was a guy, right? Actually, let's come on to Rubberneck later. I want to dig into him a little bit more, but we'll hold it there. Did I do that whole bit? Coco Robichaud.
That's the only bit you did.
Oh. Coco Robichaud, come on down to my soiree. Bring your parrain, your mari, your mammy, your dondi, your cousin, and the whole family. Nos fins de cause bonne, la Jovel, la chandelle. Se le fait la carabasse, Coco Robichaud, Padre Diablo, ran come the bride. Well, there's some words, right?
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what most of them mean. What's a parrain?
Parrain is a marraine is like a godmother. So I'm presuming parrain, the godfather. Right.
Yeah. Marie is probably a reference to Marie Laveau, who will be getting more press later. She is known as the Queen of New Orleans.
Mammy is grandmother. Dondi I've not heard before, but I'm guessing we'd normally say papi in French, but maybe it's a different type of way of saying grandfather. But the French do that. They will call they'll say mammy or mamu or lali lalu to differentiate them. So the mammy and dondi. So it's your grandmother, your grandfather, your cousin, the whole family. How does he say the next bit? No fin de cause bon.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
No. How does he say it? No fin de cause bon.
I think so. The lyrics I've got say F-I-N-E. So fan would be end, obviously.
No fin de cause bon. To me, it looks like no end of good things.
Right. Sure. That makes sense.
La joviale la chandelle. Chandelle is candle.
Right. These two lines for me have got question marks at the end.
Yeah, me too.
No end of good things? Funny, catch a candle? No. La joviale?
La joviale, it means to like party with the candle, like party in the night. Se le fait la carabasse.
I've got say la fait carabasse.
Carabasse or carapace?
C-A-R-A-B-O-S-S-E. And it's capitalized.
What is that?
I don't know.
The carapace is a shell or a shield. Yeah, so it's like a turtle shell or a shield, a soldier's shield. And also it's the Spanish name. It's a surname. So there was an Ecuadorian winner of the Giro d'Italia, Richard Carapaz.
Right. Okay. Well, I've just looked up Carabosse.
Yeah.
And she's the antagonist of Sleeping Beauty in some versions.
She's
an evil. It's the name of the evil fairy godmother.
And because the next one is Padre Diablo, so
Father of the devil. No, father is the devil, I presume.
Yeah.
It's Padre is more father in the sense of religious
right?
father. Yes.
Yeah.
Grand come the bride.
What does that mean?
She's probably talking about Cinderella.
There we go with your Coco Robbers show till I burn up or whatever it is.
No.
Come get it. And then the final word I have is dine at the soiree on the bayou.
I've got that with a question mark in brackets after it. So
Well, I've got 3 dots.
Right. So who knows? I think that one's very disputed. That line. I don't know.
So overall, in terms of the whole story, some people think they jive him. But he's got his own religion, so he's going to walk through the fire. He's not afraid of them. They're going to end up on their rope. He's walking on his gilded splinters, which connects to the universe. He's got his Zulu, drinks poison. He's going to curse them with his gree, make them stutter. And then all his family.
A party with some family
devil.
and the devil and fairy godmother.
Yeah. A long song, isn't it? In terms of time.
8 minutes-ish.
So, Dr. John, Mr. Rabenak. So it mentions that his career as a guitarist went a bit wayward in 1960.
He played guitar. I haven't even got the played guitar.
Well, the ring in 1960, the ring finger on his left hand was injured by a gunshot during an incident at a Jacksonville, Florida gig. And after that, he concentrated on bass guitar before switching to piano as his main instrument, following on from a style influenced by Professor Longhair. At some point, he became involved in illegal activities in New Orleans.
Did he? They don't do much of that down there.
Using and selling narcotics and running a brothel. He was arrested on drug charges and ended up in 2 years in the Fort Worth Federal Correctional Institution.
That's where the Alberta ward was.
Maybe, because that was 1965 that he got out of jail. And then he was part of the Wrecking Crew. What do you know about the... Yeah. Presumably it was a bassist. So you know about the Wrecking Crew?
Yeah.
They are the ultimate studio band. There was a group of about 10 of them,
right,
and they are on every single song, like 20 years. Anybody time they needed somewhere, they called the Wrecking Crew. There was like 6 or 7 of them. So it mentions here Sonny and Cher, Canned Heat, Zappa. But let's have a quick look. I mean, the Wrecking. So that's where they've got the Grammy from.
Right.
So yeah, they were the house band for Phil Spector. They worked with Frank Sinatra, Nancy Sinatra, the Mamas and the Papas, the Byrds, Bob Dylan, the Beach Boys, the Monkees, Glenn Campbell. I mean, they did everything. Booker T and the MGs. If you look about the Wrecking Crew, and it was kind of a collective. There were, I think, 10 of them. There's a couple of great documentaries on the Wrecking Crew.
Oh, interesting.
Barney Kessel, one of the greatest jazz guitarists of all time. He was in them. Really wild. The Carpenters, John Denver, Nat King Cole.
All kinds of styles as well.
Yeah, so that's where he must have got his Grammys from.
He could have got one for this kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with that.
But I don't think he was that big.
6 Grammys.
Let's have a
look. He got one for the best blues album for his album Rocked Down in 2013.
Yeah, you're right. It's all so best jazz vocal performance, Making Whoopee with Ricky Lee Jones. Best traditional blues album, going back to New Orleans. Best rock instrumental performance on the SRV Shuffle, probably after he died. Best pop collaboration with vocals, singing with B.B. King. Best contemporary blues album in 2008. Best blues album in 2013. Locked Down. That was an early precursor.
It's his fault.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, it says He's on the list of 1970s one-hit wonders. But yeah, he won 6 Grammys.
It's a bit strange, isn't it? It's obviously an album-based artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. This particular song has been covered by the Allman Brothers Band and by Cher. Have you heard or looked at Cher's version?
No, I haven't.
It's about 2.5 minutes long, which is a bit strange for an 8-minute song, and it's terrible, absolutely dire.
Wow.
I think who was it? Humble Pie did a version which is meant to be quite good, but I haven't listened to it yet.
Never heard of them.
Big 70s.
King Swamp did a version. What do we
They
know about
did,
King
didn't
Swamp?
they? I was going to mention that later. Yes. Are there versions?
Um,
Paul Weller did a version.
Wow. Tedeschi Trucks Band did a version. That's
Those lads.
you don't know them?
No.
Really famous from a guitar perspective. It's Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi. Both absolute guitar goddesses.
Did you want to do a word count, sir?
Oh yes.
Good luck.
Please sting me.
It is time for Professor J's word count.
I mean, this one's going to be flexible, right? Because it's working on my words. So I've got 126 words, which is surprisingly short for a long song, with a total of 321.
Oh, well, it's got to be more than 321. The amount of times he says that. Corn blew.
Yeah, I do have. They haven't gone for every single word. You're right. They've just done repeats for the rest of song.
I'd say it's more like 600 or so, maybe more. But yes. Do you want to give it a
How do you want to record it? Do you want to give it a 600?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. It's probably more.
I'll call it 600 then. All right.
Do you want to give it a PAL score?
Yes, I'd love to give it a PAL score.
I think it's great. We haven't had this score before. I'm going to give it an 8. We somehow managed to miss out the entire range of 8s.
You don't know half the words. We can't score it an 8.
All right. What do you want to give it then?
Well, I want to take a point away for gutter butter stutter.
I like that a little bit. I do.
And the fact that okay, I don't think it's that great.
Okay, what do you want then?
Maybe like a 6.
Okay, 6.
Go higher than that.
And we've guessed the number of words. You might as well guess the score as well.
Okay, good one. Spooky.
Right.
On to the next one.
Didn't take long, did it? Oh, I guess it did. Yes, the next song is by a band called King Swamp. What amazing synchronicity. And it is called Louisiana Bride. If you listen to these albums without knowing, you would presume King Swamp from New Orleans. You really would.
Where, in fact, they are from
London, I believe. They're definitely British.
Morton, I think.
Right. Yes. And they grew out of the, well, I was going to say the Ashes, but the other band's still going. They grew out of a band called Shriekback, who I particularly like. We did discuss one of their songs in our former incantation.
Which song?
I can't remember what the song's called. It's got talk about dinosaurs and things. I picked it because it had a lead word which isn't in any other song, and I can't remember something about things that reproduce asexually or something. Parthenogenesis, that's the word.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't remember what the song's called.
They were a short-lived band, right? 88 to 90.
King Swamp, yeah. As I said, Shriekback are still going. But
oh, right, okay.
Yes, it's the band consisted of Walter Ray on vocals, who I think is a great singer, who now reads poetry to music, apparently, with a big hipster moustache. A bloke called Dave Allen, Steve Halliwell. Dave Allen was on bass. Steve Halliwell on keyboards, Dominic Miller on guitar, and Martin Barker on drums. Lots of these have played with other people. Steve Halliwell, I believe, played with U2 and people like that. session, obviously. Dominic Miller, I think, played with Phil Collins
Sting.
live.
Sting as well.
Yeah. Martin Barker has been in some industrial rock bands, I think. Was it Killing Joke or something like that? I can't remember.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure that I might be misremembering that, but I think so. Walter Ray, as far as I know, hadn't done anything else before that. Afterwards, he did a couple of solo albums, which I quite like. And yeah, they only lasted 3 years, I think, but they released 2 albums. The first one was self-titled in 1988, and the second was called Wise Blood. It was released in 1990. Have you ever seen the film Wise Blood?
Never heard of the film Wise Blood.
You should see it. It's very weird indeed.
Mm.
On their first album, they have a song called Louisiana Bride.
Okay. So we're still in that area of that place.
Absolutely, yes. No one seems to write songs about Haitian voodoo.
Well, there's an opening for us, Professor.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be coming on to one of our songs later. Okay, I'm going to get some words going. Louisiana Bride by Pomp. It's consistent with the previous one. I got a little gree-gree and I put it in a bag. Went to see Mama Louie. I wanted you so bad. She said, you can have the woman, but you better be sure this time the disease might sweeter than the cure.
So, yes, it's a love potion situation. He goes off to see the local voodooine, or whatever she's called.
Spooky!
Yes, and it says, I want this woman. She says, okay, I can sort that out, but you better be sure, because terrible things happen when you involve yourselves in spooky practices, which is a nice little warning.
Yeah, good warning, right? So what did we say gree-gree actually was?
It's a little bag of voodoo-y stuff, which can be worn around the neck.
Yeah, because I thought it was a thing in a thing, but then he's getting the gree-gree and then he's putting it in the bag.
Yeah, I'll scroll back up to my definition. So it's a talisman, amulet, or charm. It's usually made up of a small cloth bag containing a ritual number of small objects and verses from an ancestor.
Okay. Cool. All words. She made a little Vivi with the sign of a snake, made a love potion for me to take. Alligator teeth and the devil's shoestring. Then me and Mama Louie sat down and we sing.
Yep. Veve, not
Vivi,
Vivi,
sorry.
is a geometric drawing that represents a spirit or lower in voodoo religions. Veves are made generally with cornmeal, flour, or gunpowder. They're used to concentrate the energy of a spirit so that it may manifest in a devotee's body. They're used in various branches of voodoo, including both Louisiana voodoo and Haitian voodoo.
I was wondering that because have you seen the cover of the album?
King Swan, yeah, I've got it. I've got both their albums. I absolutely love them.
The cover, it looks a bit like a sort of.
It's got a snake sort of coiling around a symbol. Yeah. I haven't seen it.
They're pretty cool, these David things.
Absolutely. So yeah, there we get the love potion bit, and it includes things such as alligator teeth and the devil's shoestring. Do you know anything about the devil's shoestring?
I do not. Tell me about the devil's shoestring.
It's a plant. It's a species of viburnum. It's considered to be one of the most powerful and difficult to acquire roots used in New Orleans witchcraft and Louisiana voodoo hoodoo practices.
Oh, why is it hard to get?
It doesn't grow in the area or something. I don't know.
Good reason. Okay, that's pretty straightforward.
So he takes his love potion and then he sits down with the voodoo woman and has a bit of a sing.
You know what I was thinking of when I read these lyrics the first time? I was thinking of that episode of the IT crowd, the IT crowd.
See.
There's a whole thing when he goes to some sort of witch to get a love potion, which you've not seen the IT crowd.
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's one of the best TV shows.
Richard Iowati.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably watch that.
Yeah, it's really good. Anyway, there's one when he gets a love potion, and for whatever reason, it turns out to be Hypnol.
Of course it does. Yes. Probably something else we're not allowed to say on YouTube.
Yes. Okay. All right. Lead on, Big Moon. I'll cross that river. Heat and darkness on the other side. Lead on, Big Moon. I'll cross that river. I'll be your zombie. You will be my bride. Ooh, spooky.
Yeah. So basically, this is the incantation to go with the potion, which he is singing along with the old woman. I presume she's old. Mama Louie doesn't have to be old.
No, that's true.
Doesn't have to be a woman either. She could be whatever she wants to be.
Indeed.
Yeah, so that's what they're singing. And he might, when he was warned in the first place that things might be bad, the fact that he's singing "I'll be your zombie," he's probably thinking at this point, "Oh, right."
Yeah, but he's singing that voluntarily, right? Not.
Yeah, they're singing together, but when he gets to that line, he's probably thinking, "Oh, wait a minute." Oh, she's giving him the words to sing, I'm sure, because it's the incantation for the spell.
Yeah, true. Okay. Right. So, next day, I awoke in the morning, cold rain on my face. You were beside me in a desolate place. The light was around you. You were clothed in sun, and I was a child in the arms of Babylon.
Yeah. So he wakes up with the woman he wanted to attract, but
He's talking to her in the first person, which is
uh,
as in she's there.
she's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really understand it, but basically they're together, but I guess she's dead. She lights around her, clothed in the sun. And he was
What's a child in the arms of
I don't
Babylon?
know. The only reference I can see is the arms of Babylon was a line from the Bible about the arms of Babylon's king being stronger than the enemy or something.
Because I see it the other way round, right? The lights around her as though she's living,
Right. Okay.
and she's clothed in the sun, where he was in the arms of Babylon. So he's died. He's a zombie.
Right.
So he's allowed to stay with her, but he's
Sure.
he's part of the living dead.
Doesn't Babylon mean the police in the Jamaican patois?
Oh, I don't know. Babylon.
Oh,
So yeah, so
maybe.
something.
Right.
He's got his woman, but
Yeah,
it's all gone.
he's kind of dead. He will continue in the next verse.
Yeah. Lead on, Big Moon. I'll cross that river. Heat and darkness on the other side. Lead on, Big Moon. I'll cross that river. I'll be a zombie. You will be my bride.
Yep. So that's what he said.
More of the same.
Of course, crossing the river means dying, as you said. Crossing
Yeah.
river Styx or whatever.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, that's definitely mixing religions.
Yeah. I'm never going to live. I'm never going to die. I live across the water with my Louisiana bride. So take heed of the story of Papa Chicken Shack. He went walking on the bayou. He ain't never coming back.
So I presume
Double negative. He is coming back.
Yes. So that's how they talk, I guess, around those parts. I guess Papa Chicken Shack is the narrator. So he's telling people to worry, see what happened to me, and be careful not to mess with these things because you might end up to being a bit of a zombie like me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's Papa Chicken Shack?
He's the narrator. It's also I did a search. It's also
Oh yeah.
a fried chicken place in London.
Do you think that they got inebriated one evening? And they were getting their fried chicken late at night from Papa Chicken Shack.
That's entirely.
And then they created a story, drunk on the absinthe, like certain other musicians have done.
That's when we were creative.
Yeah, we wrote The Road to Hull, which was then taken over by, someone else has used that word in a TV show.
Surprised it was a bit of genius, to be fair. So yeah, that's that. It's fairly straightforward. So I just like it. I love it.
We haven't finished yet. I've got more of words.
Have you? I haven't.
Yeah.
Just the chorus again.
There's a bit that's different.
Oh, okay.
Lead on, Big Moon. I'll cross that river. Taste your milk and honey on the other side. And then another time, heat and darkness on the other side.
So. Milk and honey is a biblical thing. Lands of Canaan.
Land of milk and honey, right?
I think it's Canaan, Cana. That was what was promised to the people who Moses took out of Egypt.
Indeed.
which involved crossing a river or sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, not really crossing a river. The river got out the way.
Which is most
Or
considerate of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's that, and I think it's great. I think you should listen to, especially the first album. It's brilliant. It's really
I will definitely listen to King Swamp.
Yes.
Actually, I'm going to listen to all the Dr. John songs. I love the feel of it. That sort of 70s feel, even if it was recorded in the 60s.
Yeah.
It was ahead of his time.
It was, yes, absolutely.
John with his missing finger. Yeah.
You think it'd be even harder to play piano than bass guitar if you had a missing finger?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. No. Want to do a word count?
Oh, love to, but you're not getting another sting. It's one per show.
Yeah. So, safely in the central zone. It's a 111. Spooky. 111 unique words out of 283 in total. How would you like to PAL score this one, Professor A?
I like it a lot, but I'd give it a 5.5.
I prefer it to the previous one.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm happy to have it moved up because I really like King Swamp. So.
I'll give it 6.25.
Excellent. 6.25.
Did we ever implement a third in our?
No, we didn't. Which is probably a good thing for your calculations. Now, finale show. If it ever happens.
Yeah. All right. The next one, essentially the last one that we have chosen, is sung by Grant Lee Buffalo. Who is Grant Lee? Grant Lee Buffalo is one of those names that I know, but I don't know anything about them. I couldn't tell you who he was, if he was current, if he was from 100 years ago. Don't know anything about him.
He's from the 90s and then a bit again in the 2010s. The original band was 3 members.
I thought it was a guy. I thought Grant Lee Buffalo was a guy.
No, Grant Lee Phillips is a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a vocalist and guitarist. He plays a lot of acoustic guitar through electric amplifiers, which is how they get their sound. A chap called Paul Kimball on bass and a lad called Joey Peters on drums. And all 3 of them were previously members of another Los Angeles band called Shiva Burlesque, which is quite a good name.
Have you been able to find anything about Shiva Burlesque?
I have not. I have not tried.
I mean, that's got to be a better name than...
You'd think so. But presumably Shiva Burlesque was still going, so they couldn't just steal it. Their first album came out in 1993, so not 100 years ago, in fact, although pretty close. And it was called Fuzzy. And it was really, really critically acclaimed. And I don't think it sold much. And they had a couple of hit singles here. And I bought that and absolutely loved it, still do. I'm less into their other albums. There are some very good songs in them. They did 3 more albums in the 90s, then split up, and then came together again from 2010 to 2014.
So Shiva Burlesque, can I just give you their profile?
Oh, sure.
It made me laugh. A powerful and graceful band that was too post-punk to be folk rock and too folk rock to be post-punk.
Yes.
And originally, it was a partnership between Jeff Clark and Grant Lee Phillips. And they made 2 albums in 87 and 90.
Grant Lee Phillips did some solo albums between 1999 and 2010. I have to say, I own 2 of them. I've never listened to them. I've got the actual CDs somewhere. I've never got around to listening to them. I really should. They did a lot of touring. They supported bands such as REM, Pearl Jam, Smashing Pumpkins, and the Cranberries. So they were getting the big exposure gigs.
Okay.
And their 1998 single, Truly, Truly, received extensive airplay in the United States. It's not one of my favourites of them. And, never mind. Anyway, this song is called Dixie Drugstore, but it's not just Dixie Drugstore, it's the Juju mix of Dixie Drugstore.
Is there a non-Juju mix? I couldn't find a non-Juju mix.
I think you probably will find that you haven't got the right lyrics then. Yeah, the album version is about 5 minutes, and Juju mix is 8.5. It has about 6 more verses.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, juju.
Juju. Yeah, do you know Juju?
Bad juju. I know that from the
Yes.
Mighty Boosh.
Yes. Again, it's a spiritual belief system incorporating amulets, spells, etc. Again, starting in West Africa. Um, and it's sort of revolves around the belief that two vessels, one of them which is usually a monkey's head, if these two vessels have been in close physical contact with each other, they have similar spiritual properties and make the objects possible to manipulate. So, such as in a voodoo doll, where allegedly, if you stab a doll of someone with a pin, they will feel it.
I don't know what to do about these lyrics now. What does yours start with?
Well, then it's fine. You just do the lyrics you've got, and I'll cut in when the extra verses come in if you haven't got them. It starts the same.
Okay. Oh, jambalaya, oh, jambalaya.
Yes, so you aware of jambalaya?
Jambalaya, jambalaya. Isn't it a sort of foodie thing?
It's a Cajun dish, yes. It's very nice.
Yum, yum, yum. Okay. It was muggy around. No. It was muggy July around supper time when I pulled into New Orleans. I got dropped off at South Rampart Street. I was hungry for a plate of greens.
Yes, greens is one of those southern things, isn't it? Like grits, southern America.
Yeah.
Never understood it. Why would you be hungry just for a plate full of boiled cabbage or whatever it is? Anyway, yeah, so it's July. He's setting the scene here. It's July. It's supper time. He's pulled into New Orleans. He tells us exactly which street he's been dropped off at. So presumably he's either on a bus or riding in a car with someone. And he's hungry for a plate of greens. Not a jambalaya.
Indeed. I made my way down the banquette where I could see an open door, and overhead a sign made of painted pine read, Dixie a drug store.
That line is brilliant. It's got two internal rhymes.
Overhead a sign made of painted pine red.
Sign and pine and head and red. Very clever.
Plus one for that.
Yes.
Made his way down the banquette.
Banquette. I don't know exactly. It's sort of a buildings. I don't know.
Banquette is. I think the only time I've heard the word banquette is in Alan Partridge, when it's the name of the. It's not the only time. The first time I heard it in English.
Mm.
It's like the seating that you have in a caravan. It's a banquette. It's like it means a little bench.
All right.
So I can see him sort of shifting his arse down along the banquette.
Okay, fair enough. So anyway, he's done that, whatever that might be, and he's seen a sign which says the Dixie Drugstore above an open door.
Okay, now it's going to go wrong. I've got peppers and roots. Is that
That's fine.
consistent with? Nope. Peppers and roots were hanging from the rafters above. There were oils and sprays all on display. For money, luck, and for love.
So again, we've got above, love, sprays, display. So he's in this shop, and it's fully stocked. It's got peppers and roots, which will be used in the creation of gris and vevos and jujus and things, probably. I've lost track myself now. What was that called? What are they called? The oils and sprays. Lagnaps? Lagnaps, that's what they're called in Creole. Sort of sprays which you spray yourself with it, and you'll have a business deal will be presented to you within the next 5 days or something. So, obviously,
good.
Bunch of. It's obviously a very religious thing.
Okay, I reached down to pick one up when a dark hand grabbed my arm. And before I could see just who it was, she said, "You don't want that charm."
So again, a hand has grabbed him, and we know it's a woman because he said, she said. He can't see her, but she said, "You don't want that." Now, is that because it's fake, or is it because it will bring bad things to him?
It's going to bring him bad juju.
I think it might.
The juju mix. Yes. Oh, jambalaya, spooky. Okay. The last man to walk that thing out of here just up and disappeared. Found his wallet and his wingtip shoes near a tombstone Down in Algiers.
Yes, this, of course, would be Algiers, the suburb of New Orleans, not the one in Algeria, I presume.
Presumably, yes. Sorry, I just had a little. For some reason, I thought it was a place in Spain or Morocco, but that's Tangiers.
So yeah, well, that's
Jews. God.
yeah, those are the days, man.
Oh, happy days.
So the last minute,
Yeah.
he just
So it's bad juju. So don't get that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Then she says, "What you need, my travelling friend, is a place to wash your jeans." I wouldn't be the least surprised if you were hungry for a plate of greens.
She's all
So he
psychic.
went to. He was in there. He wanted some sort of business deal or
No,
something.
not necessarily. He just wandered in because the door was open.
And she said, "Oi, Stinky, go get your clothes washed
Yeah.
and eat some food, you douche." Okay. Next words. She beckoned me up the stairs, or she'd made up her mind. She said, "Take off your hat and kick off your boots and leave your pride behind."
Yeah. She invites him upstairs. And, says, he does what it says on the tin. I'm not sure about the leave your pride behind. From here,
Are they going to do sexy time?
oh well, you see, this after the next O Jambalaya. Well, it's actually called U Jambalaya. This is when the extra verses kick in.
Okay.
So
I've got "She Took Me Down."
no, we've got 4 or 5 verses before that. So I will take over.
Okay.
She was turning tricks and nothing clicked, and the room was black as pitch. She had me backed up against the wall. I was fumbling for the switch. So she was turning tricks. Sure,
Well, that means she's a prostitute.
it does, but nothing clicked. The room was black as pitch. I don't know. I don't think they've got down to that kind of thing yet. So I don't understand that anyway. But yes, that was the first verse, and he's fumbling for the light switch. It's still black. I don't know if he's actually seen her yet, because he said he didn't. It was too dark for him to see her face earlier. Now he's saying it's black and pitch. So what are you doing, Dogger? All right. Okay. So next verse, I could hear her crack the shutters as I felt a little draught when she gave me a shove into the tub and said, "It's time to take your bath."
Doesn't really need describing.
It doesn't really. Next, I lay there in my stockinged feet. I was soaked from head to toe. At the same time, down on Rampart Street, I heard the trumpet blow. So there's some jazzing outside on Rampart Street.
Yep.
So next,
Why didn't he take his socks off before going into the bath?
because he wasn't going into it, she pushed him into it. He wasn't
That's
ready
true.
yet. Sparks started popping from an old tin cup sitting on the windowsill. The whole place smelled like matches and onions on the grill.
How's all that about?
I don't know if it's just there's meant to be sort of lots of electromagnetic stuff in the air from something spooky going on.
Ah,
I think.
okay.
I would say that's my guess. I mean, there's no discussion of these lyrics anyway. So. Good girl, Dogger. I was catching.
Maybe she's cooking.
Maybe.
Sparks started popping up from an old tin cup. She was just cooking some food in an old tin cup. It smells of onions.
Maybe. It's sitting on the windowsill. This cup.
Oh, yeah.
Dogger, I'm busy at the moment. Sorry. Next look.
She's got something to say. She doesn't. She's got a point to make, Professor.
Yes, you're probably right. Oh, really? Really? With a gorilla? Oh, okay. Fair enough. Anyway, next verse. I was catching cold, and I told her so as I let out a little cough. She told me since my pants were clean, why don't I just dry off? So, in the time he's been sitting in this bath, somehow she's laundered his jeans while cooking something in a tin cup on the windowsill.
She must have like some sort of dry cleaning.
Could be a dry cleaners. You're right. That could be it.
Yeah, that's why it smells of matches.
Yeah. Okay. I found myself a little tea towel, wrapped it around my waist. I was standing there half naked when I noticed we were face to face. That's what it says. And
But we already know she's turning tricks. But
it's
now
just a
he
bit. I
seems
said it
to...
doesn't make sense that line's there. It's in the wrong place at all. Anyway, next verse. And now it seemed the picture's getting pretty strange, stripped bare in her chamber, and I hadn't even asked her name. I started to inquire. She knocked me upside the head. My noggin felt on fire as she pulled me into bed.
Oops, upside your head. Say, oops, upside your head. What does upside the head actually mean?
Just up the side of your head. So basically, she's knocked him out and dragged him into bed. She's not a very politically correct young lady.
Right.
Next verse. You needn't ask no questions for the things that don't concern you. If you aren't afraid of the fire, son, fire it won't burn you. There, it's a fire walking kind of thing. But yes, he's saying you don't need to know what happened after that. And then it carries on with your next verse for a bit. Then I've got more verses.
Took me down to a secret place in the bayou of her blankets. She offered to share her bourbon. I thanked her. Then I drank it.
So
I'm
in bed now, sharing some whiskey.
Through a small crack in the ceiling, burst the Louisiana moon. It shone down on our bodies, and we began to croon.
So they're starting to have a bit of a sing now.
Like a couple of coyotes, we were howling through the night. Thank you, Doggo. And I swear they were beating those Congo drums outside.
Yep. And then I'm afraid it goes back to other verses again.
I told her she was crazy, and she replied, it's true. And she finally introduced herself as a famous Mary Laveur. Laveur.
Yep.
Laveur.
Now, we mentioned her in passing under the Dr. John one. There were actually several Marie Laveaus, a sort of dynasty of them. At the time in New Orleans culture, if you were ostensibly a Catholic, because lots of people seem to do both Catholicism and voodoo in New Orleans. That doesn't seem to be
keep your options open, right?
Yeah, but in Catholic families, it was tradition that all daughters were called Marie and all sons were called Joseph, and they went by their middle name in general day.
And they mentioned Marie in one of the other songs, right? You bring your Marie, your mammy, your...
Yes, that was Dr. John's one, yeah. So anyway, the main Marie Laveau, who was Catherine, she was known as because that was her middle name, was alive between September 10th, 1801 and June the 15th, 1881. So that's quite old. And she was a Creole practitioner of voodoo. She was a herbalist and she was a midwife.
3 jobs.
Yeah, quite. She was also
Billy 3 Jobs, she was called.
Yes, she was also a prominent female religious leader and community activist. She was originally, well, not originally, but she first got married to a man whose surname was Paris, which will come up again later. And she sold gree charms and things, and had a reputation as a clairvoyant. She was known for sorting out family disputes, health problems, finances, and more.
She did a lot.
She did, but there were all kinds of accusations about her being a bit murdery and stuff. All that kind of thing.
Murdery.
Bit murdery, yes. But anyway, she was known as the Queen of New Orleans.
Okay, so is this her? But oh yeah, next line. I said, "Now come on, darling. She died a century ago." Don't believe the paper, she said. Simply isn't so.
Oh, spooky.
I shot back, that's impossible. There ain't a ghost of a chance. But I wouldn't turn a pretty ghost down if she asked me to dance. We laughed. We laughed until the morning. By then, my pants had dried.
So she was lying earlier when she said they were dry.
I picked up my hat and pulled on my boots, and I gathered up my pride. So they sound like they had a good time in this residential area, whatever it was called.
South Rampart Street.
Yes,
Dixie Drugstore.
But she's not there. I figured she had stepped out. I didn't see her anywhere, and I set out to find her. I headed on downstairs. Got down to the bottom. I couldn't believe my eyes. Gone were all the bottles and the remedy supplies.
Yes, it's all gone. Spooky.
I shouted out for Marie. I darted out the door. An old man on the wooden porch said, "What are you in there for?"
Get off my land!
Get off my land. Dan, you got no business. The hoodoo store's been closed. Long as I remember. Century, I suppose. But mister, I just spent the night with a young gal named Laveau. He said the widow Paris done a little laugh on yo.
Don had a little laugh on you. Yes, as I said, she was the widow of a man called Paris.
I said, you mean to tell me that was the voodooing? He nodded yes, none other. The Queen of New Orleans.
I'm not sure. All the lyrics say voodoo in, but I think it's actually voodoo yen, as in female practitioner of voodoo.
Right, okay. Makes sense.
And then lots of jambalaya.
Jambalaya.
Plate of greens.
I mean, there's not much to say about it in terms of interpretation. It's pretty straightforward, right?
But I just like some of the internal rhymes and things. I think it's a nice narrative song. It's a bit Bob Dylan, I suppose, in its narrative.
It's very narrative. A bit pulp.
Yes. True. Except pulp aren't usually doing what they do with ghosts. Or
That is true.
Yeah.
Meet up in the year 2000. Would you like a word count?
I would love a word count.
It's long, isn't it?
Have you included the extra verses?
Yes, I have.
Clever. I'd say it's about 600 words with 200 unique.
You're off, my friend. It's 339 unique words.
Wow.
That's a big boy. That's a long one. That's one of the longest we've ever had. Hang on a cotton picking minute. It's the second longest ever.
What was
I'm
the first one?
Well, it must be Ren.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Have a look. Yeah, High Ren is the longest ever. Wow, that's blown my pajamas. And it's the 6th longest.
Right.
With a total of 721. So 47% unique words.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. A banger. Cracker. Would you like to pal score this one?
Yeah, I want an 8.
Jesus.
I just want an 8 for something. I don't really care. No, it's not that good. But I like the internal rhymes and things. Maybe a 6.5. I mean, there's a lot of work gone into it.
I'm going to suggest them. I'm just reading it to see if I like. There is a lot of work into it. I do like it. Might surprise you. I like it. It's good. How about a 6.8?
If you really want to confuse your calculations with a 6.8, yeah, go for it.
No, I think it's better than that. I'll give it a 7.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, I think that will conclude this year's Halloween verses. I like that. It was consistent, spooky, Louisiana, voodooing, hoodooing.
I will keep my 4th song for one different occasion.
Yeah.
Maybe 2025's Halloween.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, okay, so that's that. I hope you enjoyed a super special Halloween. Or I hope you enjoyed all the special effects and things. And we will see you with our regularly scheduled programming soon. Bye.
Bye, y'all.